welcome to On the Way video series, a time where we'll meet you, the busy women of today, with relevant, encouraging, biblical insight, addressing the real issues, and offering a real hope. So whatever you're doing today, take time to find encouragement on the way.
The choices us women have to make can be mind-blowing. From the moment we get up in the morning till the time we go to bed, we're making choices. It hit me about a month ago, choices and what we have to decide between. My husband and I decided to go on a little vacation, and he's kind of laid back, so he leaves all the decision-making up to me. And so I had to make choices about what airline to fly, what dates to go, the choices of what condo to stay in, what car to rent, the choices of what to pack in my luggage. That was just getting there. And then we get there and I have to make the choices of where to go for dinner. Did I mention that he's very laid back? And so when he's on vacation, he doesn't like to make choices. So I had to make choices of where to go to eat, what to wear. Am I going to wear shorts? Am I going to wear a dress? You know, the whole wardrobe thing. And I realized, wow, choices. They're everywhere. But the choice that I want to talk about today is the choice of whether we're choosing to be frozen in fear or whether we're choosing to walk in the freedom of our faith. Welcome to On the Way from Global Girls for God Ministries and by Grace. The choice to be frozen in fear or to live in the freedom of our faith hits us whenever we have to make some pretty big choices and changes in our life, when we're feeling God's calling us out of the box, or we have to make some life-altering decisions and we're afraid. A few years ago, I was given the opportunity to go to a conference, and I really wanted to go, and I had wanted to go for years, and the money had never been there. But this year the money was there, the time off of work was there, my husband was, he was all for it, and so I packed my bags and he kissed me goodbye and set out with my map because I didn't have a GPS at that time. And I headed out, full of feeling God's favor, like pushing me forward, saying, you know what, this is good, and saying, I was thanking him all the way, just saying, thanks God for this opportunity, and I was just feeling the freedom of faith, walking, just toward the future, not afraid, and it just felt great, and I knew it was of God. So I was driving along. I wasn't, I'm normally not afraid of driving far distances, but I had reached a point where there was a detour, and I didn't know where to go, so I called my husband. He verified on the computer I was in the right direction, so I kept going, stopped for coffee, and kept going. It was a long drive. And I got off the highway, and before you know it, I was on a gravel road, and all of a sudden I noticed I was starting to be hesitant of what I was doing. I was starting to question whether this was God's will for my life, whether I heard him wrong, whether this was going to be good or bad or ugly. I just all of a sudden started feeling fear like creeping in. I just kept trying to shake it off, and it just wasn't going away. And then felt like I was lost. I had no cell coverage, so I couldn't call anybody. It was gravel roads. It was very desolate, and I became it was like fear just jumped on me. And I didn't even want to stop at a farmhouse to ask for directions, because all I kept thinking and playing over in my mind was Criminal Minds and CSI, when, they pull over into some farmhouse, and, if you never watch those programs, don't, because when you're afraid, they'll just come and haunt you. Anyways, but it was like all of a sudden I was talking to God like this, I'll never do this again. I must have heard you wrong. This isn't right. Look, I'm lost. What have I done? What am I doing, God? I don't know, and if you get me safely out of here, I promise I'll go home and I'll never do this again. All of a sudden, that's what was playing in my mind, a totally different thing than it was in my mind a few hours ago. So I told God that once I got there, I would turn around and go home. I got there, and a girl was there, and she had a staff sweatshirt on, and I asked her if she worked there. She said no. She was there for the conference, and she was a little afraid, and I told her my whole experience. So we decided to go to the conference and learn what we can, and thank God for the opportunity to be there, and that's what we did. The biggest thing I came home with from that conference was how fear freezes me. and that I want to walk in the freedom of my faith, but I don't always know how. Do you ever feel like that? Do you ever feel like you're walking and you know God's called you to this, but you become afraid? You don't know what the future holds. You're afraid of what people are going to say, and so you don't make any choice. You just choose to stay frozen. I learned that through that time that there are some things I can do to help me through that time of being frozen in my fear. And the first one is I go to God in prayer. I lay everything out before Him. I say, Lord, I'm afraid about this. And I don't know if you're calling me to it or if it's my own thing. Can you verify to me that this is the way to go? And so I just lay it all out before Him, everything I'm thinking and feeling. I encourage you to do that with any decision or choice that you know is causing you a little bit of frustration and fear. Go to God in prayer first. Second thing that I do is I go to some trusted friends. I have a couple of really close women who I can talk to about pretty much anything, and they're not going to give me the answer I want to hear. They're going to kind of draw out of me what it is I'm afraid of, or what it is that God's calling me to, or how do I know that. It says in Proverbs that the purposes of a man's heart are deep waters, but a man of understanding draws them out. That's what those women and my husband will do for me, is as I talk to them about my fears and the choices I have to make, they draw out of me what is really kind of deep down. And so they're kind of my confidence, and they're my wisdom bringers. And so I hope that you have a core group of women that you can go to, and you can lay out before them what this is all about. And they're not going to just give you some answers that are just like flat. They're going to actually bring wisdom to the discussion, and they're going to pray for you. The third thing I do is I wait. I wait on God. I wait while He lines everything up. I've learned through so many things that when I rush ahead, it is not good. Because when He calls me to wait, a lot of times He's preparing what the future holds for me in this choice that I have to make. That He's keeping me in my place for a little bit longer until all the things that He has lined up are in place. And so I wait on Him, and I go back to Him in prayer. I go to my trusted friends. And then when I get to that place where I know that it is God's favor, and He's saying, take that step of faith, child. And the only thing holding me back is fear, I know that's not of Him. I have done what I have done, and now I'm going to walk out in faith. I'm going to walk in the freedom of my faith and take that step in confidence, knowing that He is there. It says in Romans that, it says, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him and are called according to His purposes. So when I take that step of faith out, even if it might be a faltering step of faith, God will use it for my good and for His glory. And so I encourage you to step out in faith, knowing that God is got you, that He's in control. Don't be frozen by your fears. Be a woman of courage and of faith. It seems as if we take that step of faith, God will then reveal the next step of faith. He'll reveal the next. He does not, like someone had said to me, reveal the whole staircase at one time. Just one step at a time. That's walking by faith and not being frozen in fear. So today, on your way, think about that. In what area of your life are you being frozen by your fears? And what can you do to walk in the freedom of your faith? So be blessed on the way.